Dicks on the track.
Welcome to the Common Podcast, where we speak upon common sense and realize it really isn't that common. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a 39-year-old man, a mixed martial arts legend, two-time UFC champion and legend, and that is Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez is currently under arrest without option for bail at Santa Clara County Jail for attempted murder. Cain Velasquez was shown caught on camera in a speed chase where he was hunting down a man who apparently he just shot at. There was three people in the vehicle, as if I can remember correctly. The man who was the intended victim is a 43-year-old male that goes by the name of Harry Goularte, who allegedly sexually molested Cain Velasquez's 4-year-old daughter. That's going to be the topic at hand today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching us on YouTube and it is more convenient, we also have the podcast on Spotify. You can find that at The Common Podcast. Same thing goes vice versa. If you're finding us on Spotify, you can find a more visual where you can see us interact on YouTube, and that is also going to be at The Common Podcast. Also, we have an Instagram page where you can find us and engage and interact, because we usually do Q&As at every podcast, and that would be at The Real Common Podcast on Instagram. So without further ado, I got my guest for the day, and that is Angel Torres. What's going on, bro?
Thanks for having me back, bro.
Yeah, so this whole Cain Velasquez thing is a hot topic, right?
Sure.
This is something that not only the whole UFC community is talking about, I think all of mixed martial arts, and then pretty much every podcast out there is talking about this. It's probably in everybody's conversation right now.
Yeah, I would say so. Especially all this went down like about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks.
Something like that.
When it first came out, you kind of see the headline and you're like if you know anything about MMA, UFC, especially during the time Cain Velasquez was in, all you would see is, hey, Cain. He's like a high quality, like high character individual, right? Super disciplined. They called him Cardio Cain because as a heavyweight, he just would not get tired. He would come after you relentlessly with his wrestling, right? He could also knock you out. He knocked out Brock Lesnar. Like, UFC legend, crazy character. I've never even heard anyone say a bad thing about him. And so you see the headline, like Cain Velasquez arrested for attempted murder. It's like, wow. Like, there has to be a story behind it, you know?
Yeah. Although I don't think anybody really right now in the public eye knows the full story.
Oh, no, for
right?
sure.
It's very disclosed. It's
Yeah.
not disclosed. But Cain Velasquez, see, I'm not that well read on Cain Velasquez as an individual, but I've been watching UFC for a very long time, and I know his history in UFC, which is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And this guy just looks intimidating. So he kind of fits the description of like someone who is a very aggressive human being. I mean, he is, but from what I'm hearing, from what other people are saying, and what you just said, is that it's very controlled, right?
Yeah. Definitely all in the cage. I don't think there's ever been a real issue. For example, like let's say, obviously another brash name that everyone knows, Conor McGregor, where he does all this stuff and threw a dolly at a bus, broke a window, hurt UFC fighters. Like, yeah, he's done some crazy stuff, you know. Obviously, attempted murder is like way out there, but like Cain has never had anything outside of in the cage hurting someone. You know, you never hear about anything like that. Yeah. And he is a big, intimidating dude. I mean, he fought at like 240. He's got big old Mexican pride written on his chest. You know, it's like you know, he's an intimidating guy. But just seeing the story, I couldn't believe it. I was like, the other guy must have did something to really get to Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously, it's like the worst story possible, you know?
Yeah.
The worst outcome, like, yeah.
So let's get into that. So you said you knew that there had to be a backstory. Yeah. And the backstory is what you just said, probably one of the worst things that you can ever find out. And let alone, nobody ever wants to experience this, right? No, when you go through trials and tribulations yourself, that's something that it's already hard in itself. Now you have your your children, who is probably, you care about them more than you do yourself, and they're so innocent, not even fully conscious, and something happens like that to them. It's like, what do you do?
What do you do, right? Like everyone, the popular thing that everyone's been saying this past couple weeks is like, hey, like he did. Are we good? He did exactly what everyone says they would do.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's crazy to think, but yeah, everyone would say like, hey, you come after me, you come after my anyone in my family, you know, there will be repercussions, right?
Yeah.
It's just like he actually carried it out. Like that's why when I saw the mugshot, he didn't look remorseful because he still doesn't regret it. He's sitting in there and he doesn't regret it. Obviously, there's going to be huge consequences. It's California. I'm pretty sure the gun laws are pretty intense. And I'm pretty sure the murder laws, you know, everywhere are pretty intense. So him having a weapons charge and that.
And you talked about this before the podcast. So it's kind of crazy that like the laws are so strict on guns and like murder, but this man who allegedly molested his daughter was let go with like
no
nothing.
Bail. They were just gonna put him on house arrest. And it's like, I don't know if you can do that because, well, first of all, I read before we got on that his house is the daycare.
Oh wow.
He lived at the daycare. His mom ran the daycare, and this loser lived at the daycare. You know, obviously the daycare is going to be shut down, but you know, I feel like, well, the daycare should have told them up front, like parents, that hey, 43-year-old man lives here. Are you okay with that? Like,
well, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't think they would because they shouldn't get business.
That's not marketable.
Hell no. Can't really do that. So when I read that, I was just like, wow, dude. Like, I can't imagine. And, you know, sad to say, but she's probably not the only one. You know, Cain's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely not the only one.
So the number that's being thrown around is that she was molested 100 times. I don't know how one goes about even... How do you put a number on how many times somebody was molested? I don't know how they go about that in particular, but nonetheless, having to go through this, you know, just once, right, is already traumatic enough. Whether the number 100 is true or not, the fact that this person, the daughter, was molested like several times is just horrible, right? But that leads me to, I think what everybody is discussing right now is it justifiable?
Yeah.
Right, because that's like the hot topic right now. People are saying, well, I would have done the same thing. But like you said, Cain Velasquez actually
did it.
He did it, right? And now we're put, like, he's put in a situation where it's even worse. So
yeah, he did make a really bad situation way worse. Because I mean, I'd have to look into the laws that California has for attempted murder, right? And he actually shot the weapon and he injured someone, so you're gonna add that to the charges, right?
Yeah.
He shot the guy's father instead of shooting the guy he was actually going for. So you'd have to look at the laws, but I mean, you might be looking at 10, 15 years of hard time. By the time you get out, your daughter's an adult.
Yeah.
Your 4-year-old daughter's an adult.
For sure.
That's a heavy price to pay, man.
Yeah. So my argument, and so I've seen a couple of podcasts talking about this and people on the internet coming out in his defense, right? We've seen UFC fighters.
Every single one, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's coming out saying like he's noble and I would have done the same thing. I don't necessarily agree with that. Even though that's not a popular opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think that Cain Velasquez did the right thing in this situation. I think that he is wrong for what he did. And it all comes down to this. It's that the situation that he and his daughter were put in, it's unbearably bad. Like it's horrible. But if you want to make a shitty situation worse, now, right now, Cain Velasquez's family needs him more than ever, right? Having to go through such a tragedy like that, his daughter is going to be traumatized for the rest of her life.
Oh, yeah.
For the things that he did. I believe he's married, right?
Yes, he's married.
So his wife, imagine what she's going through, finding out that her daughter has just been molested, right? And so now Cain Velasquez has now made a situation that was already horrible even worse, because now in the time where his family needs him the most, he's not there.
Yeah.
That's the fact that's the fact here. Anybody that campaigns like, oh, Cain did the noble thing, the right thing to do, it is wrong. I'm sorry, but it is, because you have to think of the bigger picture here. Like,
yeah,
sure, it's a crappy situation, and people are probably gonna ask me like, oh, you don't know because you don't have a daughter, or like you've never been put in that situation. Fair enough, but me as a spectator, I can see that. I would guarantee you that his daughter would much rather have him by her side right now than in a jail cell.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right now she's going through two things. You know, she doesn't have her dad, and obviously this is she's gonna carry that with her the rest of her life. But now she's also gonna carry like, oh, my dad wasn't with me for 14 to, I mean, from the age of 4 to maybe 20, you know.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like you want to make a situation worse. Yeah. I mean, act out impulsively. I think it was in his favor. Like, thank God he didn't kill that guy. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because if he would have killed him,
if it was actually murder,
it would have been way worse.
I mean, I don't know how if the law can. Yeah, I'd have to dig more into the law. But if it's like a crime of passion, like if it's something done like at a moment, I know you do get a lesser sentence, but it was 3 days between, and he knew exactly where they were gonna be, so it could be premeditated, which is even worse. Yeah, I mean, apparently he caught him while he was gonna go get an ankle monitor to make sure he doesn't leave his house, right? Because he was on house arrest. So he was going to the station, I guess, to get the ankle monitor when Cain rammed his truck into them and, you know, did what he did. Yeah, I just I believe the quote I saw that Joe Rogan said. I'm not sure if he actually said it. I didn't listen to the audio, but I saw the quote. He's like, he just wishes that Cain would have gotten off, dragged the guy out of the truck, and beat the hell out of him, and just left. Right?
Yeah, I mean that's still,
and like, you're still gonna catch a charge, right? But it's not attempted murder.
For sure.
Yeah, you might go to jail for a little bit, maybe. If you're an awesome lawyer, you get probation, right? It's just assault. But yeah, I feel like that's the way he should have gone. It's just like, that guy deserves an ass whooping, man. For 1,000%. I mean, he's, you know, if he gets convicted, he's gonna get something in prison, right?
I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that man is killed or the guy, the child molester.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gonna go back to jail, whatever it is, because he's no bail, right?
No, he's out on bail right now.
Oh, okay, so he's out on bail.
But if he gets convicted for so and so amount of molestations, he's definitely gonna serve some time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that man murdered.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just saying
it's
Cain Velasquez. Okay, so what he did already. People die, right? People are murdered for that in prison, right? Because that's it's kind of crazy. Even amongst the people of prisoners, that's
a crime.
That's a crime. It's like even horrible people. I mean,
who have murdered other people, let's say for drugs, let's say for money, right?
Even
to them, touching a child, that's worse.
That's like if it's horrible to horrible people, come on, bro. And then so add that plus the whole campaigning of the whole United States and mixed martial arts.
Yeah, man. Everyone knows his name. Like, people know who he is. When he gets booked inside that prison, they're going to know that's the guy who did that to Cain, you know, Cain's daughter. And yeah, someone's gonna do something. Yeah, I doubt he gets in there and just like has a good time unless they, you know.
They're going to protect them.
Yeah, they'll protect them. They'll do their best.
But yeah, it's not going to be good for, overall, it's not a good situation for either party.
Definitely not. I wish the laws were different, right? So where Cain wouldn't be punished like for this as bad as he is gonna be. But you gotta know that's the law, man. Like, when you make that decision, you gotta know like there's a possibility of this. I feel like he would have been happier if he actually killed him and went to jail than just going to jail.
Probably.
You know? Yeah, I feel like that part is like probably getting to him right now.
Lingering in his mind. Like, man, I don't think he
regrets going after him. I think he just, or going to jail. I I think he regrets going to jail and not actually committing what he was going to do.
So do you think that it's going to be two different separate charges? I doubt that they're going to pull the...
There'll probably be multiple. I mean, the weapon was his.
No, but what I mean is, like, do you think they're going to pull, like, oh, well, let's consider that the other man molested his child? Or let's consider that child molestation charge into this. Or do you think it's going to be like, no, like, that's its own separate charge, and then we're going to have the discussion of attempted murder? You know, this is what we're handling right now. Because if you handle it just like that, as individual, Cain Velasquez, it's not going to look good for Cain Velasquez.
No, it's not. But I believe they already presented all that in court already. So we just have to wait for the actual trial to happen and to see if it'll get dismissed or if it'll actually be included. I mean, the best case scenario, it gets included. And so it's not looked as premeditated. It's looked like a crime of passion, a crime in the moment, something that he just, he had the urge and he wasn't in his right mind. I'm not sure about his, like, criminal background or anything, but, I mean, hopefully he doesn't have anything. So that way, the punishment will be less severe, especially if he pleads guilty. Hopefully he doesn't get that bad of a punishment, but you're still looking at a good amount of time. Yeah,
if it's drawn in, which you said it already has, I think it would be less than what...
than the maximum. If someone gives them the maximum, man, that's a very tough judge if they give him the maximum. Like, I get denying him bail because, well, obviously the other guy's not in jail. The other guy is on home arrest, and Cain knows where he lives. So obviously, if you give Cain bail, he's gonna go try to do it again. Yeah. Maybe, So I kind of get not giving him bail. I wish the situation was different. That's just the law, man.
Yeah, and so I think also in the regards of crime of passion, what is considered, I think, so I'm not, obviously, I don't know the laws too well. I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. But if someone is angered or, turned and did their tragedies or whatever, he attempted this murder because of just one person or just one case, then that's crime of passion. But if this person's like a lunatic and it can harm anybody running across the street, then that would be like, oh, this person's like a murderer. He's a danger to society, basically, as opposed to this one person. Yeah,
but like I said, it could also be labeled as premeditated murder, like he planned this out, like he knew he was going to kill him. But if you add like what happened to him personally, I don't think it would be considered such, right? But we'd have to see how the trial plays out, obviously. Right now, we just got I believe he'll be back in court April 12th, something like that.
I thought it was
early
tomorrow.
April. He's going back tomorrow?
I thought that's what I had read.
I thought it was early April. Not really sure.
Oh,
but
you might be right. I thought that's what I read. I thought that... So today's March 8th. I thought he was going back tomorrow, March 9th. But yeah, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I mean, even the courts, like, they received so and so many signatures from all these UFC fighters and people, trying to vouch for Cain, trying to get him out. But I mean, you gotta see it for what it is. If he gets out, he'll probably go do something and get even worse charge. If he goes and tries to do it again, that's
or what
worse.
If he tries to go to the daycare owner?
Exactly.
And stuff like that.
Who he already shot the father, right? The mother was in the car too. The daycare owner was in the car too. And they were with their son who molested all these.
What do you have to, man?
I guess you'd really love your kid through anything, right? Like if my kid did something like that, I don't know how I can just be driving him to the police station, But
how can you be so? I don't know what's going on in this guy's head, like how he's wired to like think it's okay to molest children, like child molesters. They're like just different.
Yeah. They're completely wildly different for sure. It's like that and like. I don't even want to talk about it. Child porn, like stuff like that. Like that's just a dark side of humanity, like as dark as you can get. And he literally had a daycare to him. Like these children were fed to this predator. It's just it's a really unfortunate circumstance that was actually happening, and who knows in how many other places it's happening. And, for a manipulator like that, he can get kids to be like, hey, this is our secret, and that's how 100 times could happen,
Yeah. And what blows my mind too is that like there's some dads also that are child molesters. So like how can you be a father? Like how can you see a little human being, such an innocent female or boy, right?
Yeah,
male or
boys a lot,
female,
yeah.
because boys also get sexually molested as well. And just, I don't know. I just don't understand how you can look at such a small innocent being and just want to do that. I don't know.
No, man, it definitely, it doesn't sit well with me when I even think about it. You know, it's a very, it's just like the worst in us. You know, that's definitely the worst in us.
Yeah, I think that, I know this might not even like correlate, but I feel like child molesters and cannibals are like hand in hand. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like those,
cannibals. Man, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you got to be kind of crazy unless you're like completely starving, right?
Yeah.
Cannibalism, if that's an option, like, you're a lunatic. Like, that's like, how do you even think about taking?
I'm gonna go eat this person. Yeah, a lot of people in those kind of situations would never even think about turning to cannibalism. But yeah, it's like I think it's something that people are just born with. Like, they're born with this like thing in their head.
It's like a predetermined
thing, because there's no way, like, for example, notorious cannibal, his name is Jeffrey Dahmer, right? And he was always a weirdo, like in school growing up, this and that. And then by the time he turns into an adult, people find out all these crimes he committed while he was an adult. He would legit kill people and eat them, right, in his apartment in Milwaukee. And it's just like, that has to be something that was always in him. Like, you can't teach that behavior, or at least I don't think a traumatic event can trigger that. Maybe it can, right? Trigger that. But I also think like that's just who they are. Like, they're born messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the evil. That's evil.
For sure.
Can't.
So best case scenario, what do you think Cain walks away with?
Best case, I think he does 5 years and then 5 more years of probation. I don't know the laws, but I'm just guessing, right? For attempted murder. I don't know what, it'd be nice. We probably should look up the California laws for like attempted murder. He didn't actually do it, right? I've seen like some murder charges or manslaughter go for like 10, 15, right? So that's why I'm thinking like attempted, maybe 5 and then 5.
Wait, manslaughter go for 10, 15?
Yeah, like extra 10 years, 5, 10 years.
Wow.
I'd have to actually check. But he's definitely he's gonna go away for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it's a sucky situation that, I don't know, dude. How do you think you would act? I guess even though you probably don't want to, try to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I don't think I would
Carry it out.
Yeah, I don't think I would seek him out and carry it out, right? I think you have to be there for your loved one, for sure. You have to be there for them, and just, you know that it's going to affect like them, how they grow up, and you're just going to have to learn to live with it. It's going to become a part of your life. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to keep moving forward, and
Yeah.
Obviously, will I want to kill this person? Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I want to see everything possibly done so they can get the death penalty, right?
Yeah.
In California, I don't think they can, but here in Texas, for sure. So if that would happen to me, that's what I'd be pushing for. Put this guy away as long as you can, this and that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would actually, because like you said, like, now it's a possibility his daughter doesn't have him around.
Yeah.
And it's not just about like him teaching her how to become an adult and all this stuff and the finances and everything. It's just their family's lives is completely devastated.
For sure. Because I think the best way to counter this, and obviously it's a difficult situation, but the best way to counter this is to show your daughter how a man should treat a woman, right?
Yeah.
Because this woman, this little girl is going to be messed with, right? And she's going to be, obviously her future is going to be messed with and tampered with because of these experiences. And maybe the way she pictures a male is not going to be the way it should be. And so I guess the best advice that I would try to give is, maybe Cain or any, father should just try to be there and try to guide that towards a constructive a man, I guess.
And I mean, the sad truth is a lot of parents don't even find out about this stuff
that's
until years later, you know. So you don't even know your daughter or your son is going through something like that until if they ever tell you, you know. It's something that some people just hold to themselves.
That's hard. Like, I don't understand how it's usually females, right? Like,
I would think so, right? But
I would think so
then they
too.
also say like boys, like men, they don't talk about it.
Yeah,
so the stats could be skewed
for sure. That's true. That's
could be close to 50-50, but I would say like the way I perceive it, it happens more to females.
Yeah, because I can see where a boy would not want to talk about it, because that's just like you're striking their ego,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, like
their manhood, like, forget
it just
about it.
Tears
right?
you apart. It will tear you apart. Like if something, I can imagine.
Yeah, I wonder why females do it. Do you think it's
like they tell people, or
why they don't tell people?
Why they don't tell people?
Because there's a lot of them. I know a lot. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know a lot of them personally, but I've heard that there's a lot. Right?
Yeah, I've heard of such cases.
And I know some personal people too.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
And they keep it to themselves.
And
they'll tell like a select few.
Yeah, like a friend or something, but never like someone who could actually do something about it.
I wonder why.
It's like shame.
I think for women it's shame.
Some sort of shame. Like
I'm not 100% sure, but maybe they feel like worthless.
Yeah.
Or objectified. I don't know. But for men, I can definitely see that. I can see how.
Man, it's about pride. It's about ego. It's about the perception of your manhood. You know, like this and that. Like if you're.
Because let's say a teenager, right? Yeah. A 13-year-old boy is sexually molested by even a female, right? Imagine you going to somebody. It's like, really, bro? You're complaining about a female sexually molesting you?
You get it downplayed or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, but even if it's a guy, it's probably shame on top of that. It's like, you know what I mean? That's that guy that got touched by a male. And it's like, dang, I don't want people to know me by that.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's a rough situation to be in. But wouldn't it be even harder to keep that in? I think it would.
I think it would be. Like I said, I think guys maybe just tell maybe if later on they get married, maybe their spouse, significant other, and just like express themselves that way, right? But in reality, they should seek like legit therapy. Like that's one case where like, yeah, you probably, I don't know about your stances on therapy. I don't think everyone needs it. Like people put it out to be on social media, but I think like select people do need to talk things out.
Oh yeah, I'm an advocate of therapy. I mean, I think that people should speak out their mind. If they're not comfortable with doing it in their circle, then a therapist is definitely something that they can.
Yeah, it's nice because it's a third party, no consequences like come out of it. Because when these men feel shame, so they tell they're in their circle. They can't tell they're in their circle because then they look at you different, and you have to hang out with this person, right? But if you talk to a therapist, you talk to a third party person, you're able to bounce and obviously, they're more knowledgeable about what these feelings actually mean and whatever they mean.
And their opinions are not skewed, or like their advice isn't skewed because they're not.
They should be objective.
Yes, exactly. And another thing about telling you're in a circle is that you run the risk of that being also spread.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. There's always going to be someone like, oh, did you know that? Like,
yes.
Oh, this guy. And yeah, no, that's not good for anyone. For sure.
Yeah, tough situation. Let us know what y'all think in the comments. I'm very curious as to what y'all think about the whole Cain Velasquez things.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard of it, I recommend go check it out. I know that there's several videos on YouTube. If whatever we said today did not cover what you're already more curious about, just know that there isn't too much out there at the moment. There's still a lot more cases to be, court cases to be, handled with and whatnot. And the story is still unfolding. And so what's out there in the public is not, there's not much out there. So
like I said, we'll have to wait to see how it plays out. But like I said, I think he's gonna do some time. And I hope he gets let out early for parole,
For sure.
Yeah. And I hope by that time that other guy is actually serving time.
Yeah.
I really hope the justice system doesn't fail us like that. Like have him serve this amount of time and him none. That's unacceptable.
For sure.
For me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about having another podcast wrapping it all up once the whole case is said and done with. Hopefully we can do that. Hopefully I can bring Angel back and we can talk about that. But for now, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's discussion. Cain Velasquez, what do y'all think? What do you think? How do y'all think that you would have played it out if you were in Cain Velasquez's situation? And leave that in the comment section below. Ladies and gentlemen, if you found us on YouTube and it's more convenient, then you can also find us on Spotify. That is The Comment Podcast. If you're listening to us on Spotify and you want more of a visual and to see us interact, you can also find the video version on YouTube. That is also The Comment Podcast. I cannot stress this enough about the Instagram, because I'm going to be putting some polls and some Q&As on Instagram where y'all can come and engage into the actual conversation and the podcast. And that Instagram is at The Real Comment Podcast. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Catch y'all next time.